Shalom, brothers and sisters. I am reading through The Lost Religion of Jesus by Keith Akers. And what I am going to be showing on screen is I took some pictures of pages 26, 27, and 28. I'm going to put those on the screen shortly. One of the most viewed videos on my channel is about the ebionites, and so this video is, according to Keith Akers, the core beliefs of what the ebionites apparently chose to live by as their guiding principles. Now, just to be clear, I agree with most things the ebionites teach, but not everything, so I am going to give some of my own commentary, as well as add something to this list that I am absolutely certain would be ebionite, but it's just not included in the list. So without further ado, the ebionite beliefs. Okay, so Jesus is the true prophet. Don't get too caught up on the word prophet. Some people think he's the actual manifestation of God. Some people think he was just a prophet. We know at least that his words are trustworthy regardless of what type of person you class him as. Now, a simple lifestyle is desired by God. The ebionim means the poor, as you see there. And so they lived a life apparently of voluntary poverty, just subsisting on what was necessary, sharing everything in common with those who have need. Jesus condemns animal sacrifices. I came to abolish sacrifices, says Jesus in the Ebionite Gospel. Now, I think also he came to abolish capital punishment. This is not written in the text. This is my own commentary, but I think that would also include human sacrifices. For example, the woman was caught in adultery, and Jesus, famously said, if no one remains to condemn you, neither do I. And they were going to stone the woman caught in adultery to death. And that is the punishment according to Torah, that someone caught in adultery should be stoned to death. However, Jesus did not do that, and so I wonder if maybe even capital punishment, maybe that might not be part of it. But in any case, for animals, the Ebionites were vegetarians. Continuing here in the text, Jesus teaches vegetarianism. Alcohol should be avoided. God has one law for everyone. This is really a key to the teaching of the Ebionites, the idea of just one law. A lot of Christians and Jews get caught up in this sort of Hegelian dialectic of the Old Covenant and New Covenant. We're told within Scriptures that the Father is the same yesterday, today, and forever. And yet there's different sets of laws for different people. So God has one law for everyone. The Ebionites essentially kept the core rules of Torah, although, as I mentioned, things like sacrifice, they did not. The law has been distorted with false texts. Now, this is something that's a little bit controversial, but for example, animal sacrifices they thought were distortions. You can look at people like James Tabor who talk about interpolations that have been discovered in these different texts. And also simply there are just things like scribal errors. Jesus, taught us that the scribes and Pharisees shut the door to the kingdom of heaven because they themselves would not enter in, and they don't want to let anyone else enter in after them. I would submit to you that the Bible is a book written by and published by the scribes and the Pharisees. So even though it says here, this is an unusual doctrine, heretical to both Orthodox Jews and Christians, I think it's pretty easy to understand if you just apply the principle of cui bono. Yeah, it's a censored religious text that's giving you only the spiritual information that you're allowed to know. Warfare is condemned. Christ has already appeared many times. This is an interesting thing. I'm not sure if I understand what the author means by that one. Baptism is important for salvation. There is only one God. This is really key because most Christians and Catholics would really, they have this sort of 3-in-1 belief of what God is. The Ebionites would have had just a 1-in-1 belief. It was just Yahweh, or however you pronounce it, from the beginning to the end, and that's it. Paul was an apostate from the law. That's the scandalous thing I talk about on my channel. I'm not even 100% sure of all the other things in that list of the core beliefs of ebionites that I just read, but I know for sure about that one. The Messiah, when he came, taught obedience to the law, but you're only ever going to see that if you interpret the Messiah without putting on the glasses of Paul. If you just let the Messiah speak for himself without your pastor, without your priest, without the Apostle Paul or anyone else interpreting the Messiah for you, the Messiah is 100% consistent with the messages of the prophets before him. The Messiah did not change the law. The Messiah did not give a new dispensation. The Messiah did not make up for any mistakes of the old covenant and gave us the new covenant to replace it. There's only ever been one covenant, just like there's only ever been one God, and there's only ever been one eternal law for people. And when Jesus said, oh, Moses got this wrong or Moses got that wrong, it wasn't that God gave the law wrong through Moses. It's that even prophets are flawed human beings. The law is eternal, God is eternal, and we must do our best to please the Father in obedience for him. And while I don't agree 100% with the Ebionites, I think they're much closer to the truth than Christians, Catholics, or Jews. Shalom, brothers and sisters.